Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Southside Occupational Academy. I'm delighted to see you all here on such a momentous occasion. The two bills that are being signed today are major victories for students with disabilities and their families. Having worked across many CPS schools as a speech-language pathologist, and then serving here at the best school in Chicago Public Schools, right, everybody? Right. For the past 11 years, I've been fortunate to talk to many families and individuals with special needs. And I'll never forget a conversation that I had with one of my students' parents back in 2010, the first year that I started. It was December, and Dimitri was about to turn 22. According to state law, as a 22-year-old, he was no longer going to be eligible for public school, and he would be part of the adult service world. As he and his mother were leaving the school for the last time, she turned to me and she said, "I don't understand why Dimitri has to leave. Why can't he graduate in June like all the kids in all the other schools? This is not fair, and he doesn't even understand. Why is he graduating anyway? There's nothing for him now." I felt her pain, and I knew that she was right. You see, Dimitri and thousands of other individuals with special needs across the state of Illinois have shared a similar story. They've been forced to leave their school, a place of growth, a place of comfort, and they've had to leave on some arbitrary day before their 22nd birthday and then transition to their home, where they wait for up to 10 years for services as an adult with disabilities. In fact, the state of Illinois currently ranks 44th in the nation for funding for programs for adults with disabilities. And while I know that these bills are just a beginning, I'm very happy to say today that our state is moving forward. And I'm encouraged that we have legislators who see that our students need their help. The bills that are being signed today are a huge step in the right direction. Students who've aged out over the pandemic will be eligible for additional school support. And our students and all the other students with disabilities across the state of Illinois will now graduate at the end of the year just like every other general education peer. So on behalf of my students, I want to say thank you to all the legislators for your support, and to you, Governor Pritzker, for starting our state on a path for much-needed change for our fellow citizens with disabilities. So at this point, I'd like to turn the podium over to Governor Pritzker to share his remarks.
Well, thank you very much to Principal Long. Thank you for, well, so much. Everyone here today and everyone at home should know that Joshua Long has dedicated his career to helping students with the greatest needs. For 20, yeah, that's worthy of applause. For 20 years, he has served students in Chicago Public Schools, and 11 of those years here at Southside Occupational. And in many ways that we wouldn't be here today celebrating progress for students with special needs and with disabilities without Principal Long. He has not only worked to change lives on an individual basis, but he's given his voice to true structural change that's needed in our state so that his students and the alums here can see a more equitable and dignified future. That journey continues and is far from over, but starting the school year, this school year, Illinois will do a little better by its students with special needs. I'm proud to be joined today by our General Assembly partners, Leader Bill Cunningham and Representatives Fran Hurley, Suzanne Ness, Lindsay LaPointe, and Kelly Burke. And while he couldn't be here today, I also want to acknowledge the work of leader Dave Kaler from the Peoria area. Let me also welcome Chris Yoon with Access Living, Barb Cohen, the legal counsel for Health Justice, Phil Milsk, who also could not join us today but is a longtime disabilities advocate, as well as Alderman Matt O'Shea, the former president of Special Olympics Chicago, who connected Principal Long with Leader Cunningham, fostering the relationship that brings us here today. It's also a privilege to hear the stories of Anita Barraza and Kelly Jones, parents in the Southside Occupational family, and student Matt O'Loughlin, who, thanks to this legislation, will be able to finish out his education with the class of 2023, just like his other CPS peers. I know more important advocates and leaders are also in the audience, including Jen Moody, visiting from Chicago Ag School, and others. And I want to say it's wonderful to have so many people here, and most of all, so many people who are advocating for Illinois moving ahead and doing the right thing. For all of us who represent all of you in state government, it's our responsibility to see beyond what the law requires today, to understand what it should require in the pursuit of equity. Here in Illinois, our current special education law aligns with federal requirements. But if you believe a student has the right to stay in the classroom and not be yanked out on an arbitrary day that happens to be their birthday, our current laws just haven't been good enough. Today, I get to sign two pieces of legislation that will make the law match what we all know is the right thing to do. Going forward, students with disabilities will be able to finish out their school year if they turn 22 during the academic calendar year. And thanks to a special provision for this year, those who turned 22 while in-person instruction was interrupted during the pandemic will be able to go back to school this year to make up for lost time. I strongly believe that a core principle of governance is ensuring that our laws are kind to the people that they're meant to serve. After all, our laws are an expression of our values. And there's nothing kind about taking a student with disabilities out of the classroom on October 16th or on January 5th or on April 19th just because they turned another day older. It doesn't happen to general education students, and it shouldn't happen to our students with special needs either. And in Illinois, that shouldn't ever happen again as a result of what we do here today. What we celebrate today is an alignment of the law with our values. So with that, I'd like to hand the podium over to someone who leads with heart and whose constituents should be extraordinarily proud to have representing them in the Illinois State Senate, Leader Bill Cunningham. Leader.
Thank you, Governor. I joked with the governor when we first sat down that my next request is going to be for a grant for CPS to get the air conditioning fixed here in the gym. So I want to thank the governor for his commitment that we'll see in a few minutes when he signs the bill. But the governor's been committed to this cause for a long time, in part due to the advocacy of his wife, the First Lady of Illinois, M.K. Pritzker, who has visited schools like Southside Occupational and seen the importance of these programs and has helped align the governor's administration in advocating for students with special needs. That was really important. ISB, the State Board of Education, helped us pass this bill. Though CPS was supportive of the bill, there were other school districts in the suburbs and downstate that were against it. At the governor's direction, ISB helped us advocate for the bill and to get some of those school districts to support us, and we're very thankful for that. Advocacy is the key here. That's how this bill got passed, because of the advocacy of parents of special needs students, many of whom are sitting behind me and out there along the wall. They know what advocacy is about because that's what they have to do every day for their students. It's something I've learned during the time as a state legislator. Frankly, it's humbling to watch the amount of time and blood, sweat, and tears that parents with students with special needs have to pour into their effort to make sure their students get the services they need, deserve, are entitled to. And that's why we're here today, because of their advocacy. I want to thank them for that. This bill would not have passed without their work. And our work hasn't ended. We've taken care, we've bridged a gap with this bill, and we're committed to continuing to work to make sure not only students, adults with special needs, that their that advocacy is going to go on, and we're going to ensure that services are extended as they continue as adults. So the commitment doesn't end here today. So thank you once again to all the parents for the work you've done. Thank you to Principal Long and Principal Bill Hook from the Ag School, who's been a primary advocate. We want to thank them for all their work. And next I want to turn things over to my colleague, State Representative Fran Hurley.
Good morning, everybody. I got some goosebumps when Josh Long was talking, because that's how we got here. That's how Senator Cunningham and I got to sponsor this great bill. My neighbor, Katie Kettering, my friend, she has the same last name as Hurley as me as well, so not related but friends. She came up to me. Her son Charlie turned 22 November 3rd. Lives around the corner. She's like, Fran, what? She swore. What the heck? Why does Charlie have to leave now? What? Arbitrary date, everything else. So we went over, talked to Bill Cunningham. We were at a charity softball game, which our neighborhood does. We're full of charity and giving back, like all neighborhoods, but I like mine. And we talked about it, and we're like, yeah, we can do this. And the only delay was COVID. We found out the governor's wife was in favor of it, so that was a big plus. We're like, yay, this is going to happen. So thank you, MK, for your, even though she's not here. So it just makes sense for kids to be able to finish the school year with their friends and graduate with their friends, with their classmate, and not disrupt their lives. We all need consistency. So I do want to thank Kelly Burke, who is here too, and Lindsay LaPointe. They wanted to be sponsors of the bill, but I got it first. Thanks Senator Cunningham and Suzanne Ness for everything. Matt O'Shea, it's great to work with city partners, state partners, Josh Long, and Principal Hook. Just thank you, and I'm glad this bill became a reality, and thanks to Charlie Kettering. So thank you. And my colleague, Representative Ness. Thank you.
Well, good morning, and thank you everybody for being here today. I want to begin by thanking Governor Pritzker for signing House Bill 2748. And I also want to say I was so happy that this bill passed both chambers, and it was enough that it was going to get signed. So thank you for creating this opportunity to really highlight what these bills do and the families and students that they impact. It's just made my day. House Bill 2748 allows students with disabilities who aged out during the pandemic to receive another year of in-person instruction. The intent of this bill is really to regain some of that learning that was lost because of circumstances created by the pandemic. Zoom classes were particularly difficult for this cohort of students and their families, and they were left with less options as a result. So this bill will extend that and give more opportunities to students to regain some of that learning lost, just like is going to happen for every other student in general education. I am particularly grateful to my niece, Hannah Blunt, who is a teacher in a transition classroom, for first raising this issue to my attention. And I'm equally grateful to the advocates that helped me run through the legislative process, and that includes Phil Milsk, Barb Cohen, and Chris Yun, for their tireless advocacy for students with disabilities. They were so helpful to me as a new representative in passing this through the legislative process. I'm equally thankful to my co-sponsor, Senator David Kaler in the Senate, and for all the work that he did to get this bill passed. I want to thank the colleagues in my House, Fran Hurley, Lindsay LaPointe, Kelly Burke, all of the representatives. In fact, it was a unanimously voted bill because everybody saw the need and the value and the fairness of this bill. So I'm so happy that they voted for it. And this, in conjunction with House Bill 40, will create more equity for students with disabilities and their families, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you. And now I'd like to bring to the podium Anita Barraza, a parent of a special needs student.
Good morning, everybody. I want to welcome our governor and everyone here to our outstanding Southside Occupational High School. On behalf of all parents and students, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for signing the bill HB 40, which will allow my children, Diana and Danny, and all the students of Illinois who receive special education services to stay through the end of the school year, in which they turn 22 years old. I especially want to thank Katie Kettering, Charlie, her son, Mr. Long, and all sponsors for proposing this important bill. This bill has a huge impact on our young adults and all families, as it will facilitate a smooth transition as they exit the school system. Allowing them to stay will extend their ability to continue developing valuable life skills. We thank you for your ongoing efforts in addressing the needs and equitable services for all individuals with disabilities in the state of Illinois. Thank you. And now Ms. Jones will come and speak.
Good morning, everyone. As a parent, the future can occupy just as much, if not more, of my daily thoughts than the present. What will my children grow up to do? What kind of world will they live in? As the parent of a child with autism, the future can sometimes be a very scary thought. Many things have happened this year that will make one question the future. I struggle to find the appropriate words to describe what it feels like to know one part of my daughter's future. I'm thankful, I'm proud, and I'm delighted that today the governor of the great state of Illinois is signing a bill into law that guarantees my daughter and the other beautiful students like her the right to an educational future that is not cut short, but instead furthered and allowed to flourish. Thank you. Next, we have Southside student Matt O'Loughlin.
Good morning. My name's Matt O'Loughlin, and I would like to thank everyone made this bill happen. I'm happy that I can finish the school year, and I am also sad when my friends have to leave when they're 22. Since we had this bill, we will be able to finish the school year. I would like to invite Governor Pritzker to the podium.
Thank you. Great job. Well done. And before I sign the bill, I just wanted to acknowledge our host here in the ward, Alderman David Moore, who is somebody who cares deeply about students throughout his ward, but specifically about students with special needs and those with disabilities. And I just want to thank him for his presence here today. Get the bill sponsors, if you want to stand on either side, yeah. Thank you. that, I'm happy to take any questions from members of the media. Craig.
I think this mass out here a little better. The federal government is expected to announce tomorrow a mandatory vaccination requirement or regular testing, et cetera, for federal employees.
Yep.
What are your plans for taking any action like that for state employees?
Well, as I've said in the last week or so, we're looking strongly at the idea that there are people in sensitive positions, certainly in state government, that we want to make sure get vaccinated. And so we're evaluating how best to get that accomplished. But I promise that is something that we're, among other mitigations, we're very focused upon.
Would it require employees that are working in Illinois to get vaccinated?
Their employees, yeah.
You've got Advocacy, who represents both federal and state. I mean, how do you work that out where some union members in the state are vaccinated or required to be and others maybe not?
Well, let me be clear. My number one focus is the safety and health of people who are under the care of the state of Illinois. So certainly, the first line of focus for me is making sure that those who are serving directly, for example, the developmentally disabled or our veterans or others who are in close contact with them and would be, most likely to have the inability to socially distance and to, stay away from those vulnerable people. Those are our first line of folks that I'm focusing on, but certainly looking at a broader group as well.
What about people who work at the DMV who are dealing with streams right now of people standing in line coming from all over?
Well, I should be clear for everybody. You should be wearing a mask if you are in an enclosed environment or if you're bunched up with a lot of other people. Even if you're vaccinated, it is the smartest thing to do. It's what the CDC is recommending. Being together with a lot of people, it makes sense for people to wear their masks. The only reason I'm not wearing mine at the moment, as you can imagine, is I'm standing at the podium, but as you see, I've been wearing them indoors, particularly over the last several weeks as we've seen a rise in cases. So I recommend that strongly. That is something under the purview of the Secretary of State's office, that specific circumstance you raised.
And as far as moving back from Tier 5, any places downstate that are on the verge of being rolled back because of high COVID numbers?
I monitor these numbers every day. It's of great concern to me that we have a rise in cases, particularly Delta variant, which tends to move much faster than previous variants. And so I am looking at all the possible mitigations that we should consider. At the moment, I want to be clear with everybody, wear your mask, but most importantly, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated. If you are not vaccinated today, you should educate yourself if you're concerned. Educate yourself, it's safe, and then get vaccinated. It is our responsibility to one another to, if you have the ability to get vaccinated, to go get vaccinated, and it is everywhere and available to you. If you have trouble finding a place to get vaccinated, believe me, any of the elected officials standing behind me, if not my office, will be happy to help you find a vaccination today. Every pharmacy, at least major pharmacy in the state, has vaccinations available and today. Thank you.